All right, welcome everybody. Welcome Dan Oppland. Welcome to the Valpo Hall of Fame. A big congratulations.
I really appreciate it, man. It's a tremendous honor for me. So thank you.
Where are you at right now? Where are we talking?
We're talking. I'm in Berlin, Germany.
Okay,
So
and
yeah,
coaching there now?
yeah. I coach in the second league, professional, and it's actually the former club I played for 3 years. My last club, my last stop. So this is my first year as a head coach. I was for the last 2 years the assistant.
All right,
So
we'll catch back up on your professional career, but
sure,
we're gonna start almost at the beginning.
sure.
You were a very highly touted player in high school. I think probably one of the three or four highest ranked American-based players that Valpo has ever recruited. How did you end up coming to Valpo?
Yeah, it's a good question. Basically, the recruiting process for me was I wanted to go somewhere. Me and Mike wanted to go somewhere together. That was the most important. And Valpo was actually our first visit, I can remember. And we finished the visit the next day, and we were kind of talking. It was like, do we really want to make the other four visits to the other schools that we had lined up? And we both decided, no, this is the place we want to be. It was just kind of one of those feelings, and then we just kind of gave them the commitment right there, and we didn't even do the
Wow.
other four visits.
And that was a really talented team your first year. Rydice Graf got in the Hall of Fame
Hmm.
last year. You played
Hmm.
behind him for a year. What was the mindset that first year?
Yeah, for me, I was like I said, you said I had a lot of confidence going in, and I had always had the mentality that I was gonna, come in and just I didn't think I was gonna come in and start, but I had the mentality that I was gonna come in and be uh, valuable right away, contribute right away, and I did for the most part. I kind of found my rhythm, but it was some learning curve. It was a learning curve for me, and it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me because, like you said, we had some great players ahead of us, and that kind of opened up my eyes a little bit. It's like, okay, this is the level I need to get to. So I had a lot of work to put in, but I was really an amazing experience. Like I said, it was bittersweet at times. It was rough, but I wouldn't have grown without it. I wouldn't have became the player I was without it. So.
Did your eyes open up right away? I bet your eyes opened up the very first college game of your
Sure.
career.
Carmelo
You played in
Anthony.
front of over 25,000 people at
Yeah.
the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, and you played against the eventual national champs. And you guys
Mm.
led, if my
Yep.
memory's correct, for about the
We did.
first 28 minutes of the game.
Yeah, we did.
How vivid is that memory of that game against Syracuse?
Very vivid. Very vivid. I just remember thinking, oh, we really have a shot. And then Carmelo Anthony decided to strap up to put the sneakers on and really play. And then he proved why he was the best player in the country. And you think playing against a freshman like that, so I can measure up to him, but I wasn't at his standards. I was never got to those standards. So it was a great experience. So I mean, I think for a first game, you can't ask for anything else. And I tell guys that a lot that was my first college game. Like really, like it's really amazing experience. So
Yeah, I talked to several players who you played with, former coaches as well. The theme was the exact same. Nobody
mhm.
ever worked harder than Dan Oppland. Nobody was more relentless. Nobody was in the gym more.
Hmm.
Uh, I think it was Jim Hooper said, if you look at the arc of Dan's career and how he was a very good inside player, became a great inside player, but your game developed where I think the first 2 years you made a total of two 3-point shots.
Hmm.
The final 2 years you shot almost 40% from three with
Hmm.
pretty high volume.
Hmm.
That has to be contributed to hard work, right? What drove you to expand your game to the next level?
I knew I needed to, if I wanted to survive, if I wanted to take that next step. I didn't think about playing professional. I really didn't think about any of that until like, sophomore year. But you play pickup. Well, the greatest thing about Valpo to me was the pickup games in the summers because you rub elbows with Bryce, Casey Shaw, and you see him consistently and constantly. So you ask questions and then they just tell you tips. They're like, yo, this is what I do off season. These are things you need to do if you want to play at a higher level. And they tell you the experience of playing overseas, for example, or playing in the NBA. And it's like, wow, maybe I can do this. So I kind of had the mentality that at first it was like, okay, first I want to break the starting lineup. I did that. And the next step was, well, okay, well, if I can be all conference, then I do that. And it's like, okay, then every year, every summer was just something else you kind of strive for. And that's where the work came from. To me, it was work, but to me, it was like breathing. It was second nature. And having Mike there was huge, though, you know, because I mean, we pushed each other, and I that's all I wanted to do, and you know, it paid off in the end. And it was, I look back at that, and it started. Valpo was really the. I always had a work ethic, but to really that relentless attitude really kind of was grounded there for sure.
I want to read it. I want to read a quote from Jake Diebler, the head coach at Ohio State right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
He said, when you get to college, you look for an example. And he said, Dan, without question, was that guy. His work ethic and commitment was the blueprint for every younger player to follow.
Mm,
That's obviously high praise, but that's what everybody says about you.
mm,
So I think you should be commended. You end up here getting into the Valpo Hall of Fame,
mm.
but one thing that certainly sticks out is you earned it with hard work. And that's kind of a lesson. Now you are coaching, obviously played in Europe for a long, long time. Uh, I think you should be an example for so many. That's why I'm so happy you finally have gotten into the Hall of Fame because
Thank you.
you earned every single thing that you got on the court, and you're littered in the Valpo record books, and it's because of how hard you worked. And we're in a day today, and I don't mean to go off in this long
No, you're
soliloquy,
good, man.
but we're in a game today. We're in a world today where not everybody works that hard.
Hmm.
And you were the true blue collar guy, but you obviously were a very talented player as well. Let's take us past Valpo and your
Okay.
professional career. Tell us how that started.
Yeah, I mean it's you know, first you got to get an agent, you know, and that was for me the toughest thing, just to figure out, okay, what direction I go. Bryce, having Bryce there was really huge, obviously. I mean, he had the whole experience down, and he prepared me, he worked me out. You know, we did, you know, I did the Portsmouth camp, not going into thinking I was going to really. I had some NBA, you know, you have teams interested, but you know, you got to be realistic with your chances. So just to go get invited to something like that was really cool. You know, you sign an agent, and then the offers, then these teams, you know, make offers. I didn't have any idea where I want where to go. I really didn't know what's direction, and I ended up in Netherlands the first year, and I actually played with a guy that is from St. Louis, which was really good for me because the first year was really rough for me. To be honest, the coach was really just full on negative, demanding type of coach. And for me as a guy being away from home from the first time, a homebody, it was really rough. But we had seven Americans. We had a really core group, so that helped me get through it. But that first year mentally was really draining on me, and I didn't know how long I'd play overseas. I really didn't know how long I'd want to do it. But then I just went, you know, then I went through over the years, you know, and then I went to Poland, then you go to Sweden, then eventually you meet a girl. I met my wife in Germany. And the next thing you know, okay, I'm going to keep playing. Then I went to Austria. Then I went to Finland. Then I came back to Germany. And then it just kind of goes from there year by year. You build it up and you end up 16 years playing. So I never thought it was going to be that long. I thought, you know, 5, 6 years I come back home. But, you know, life takes you in these crazy journeys, man. And now I'm living here in Germany with a house with two kids and everything. So it's been amazing. I would not. It's all connected. I tell people that all the time. I tell my players that you know this game that we do. It's more than the game because it's life. Because it connects you with everything. You know the relationships you build, and it comes back. Now I'm back here talking to you, a guy who supported me from one of the beginning to not the beginning, but the beginning of my college career, and it's kind of it all comes back, and it's a beautiful thing. So
Good, you're going to the Hall of Fame with Chris Ensminger.
yeah.
And I assume you've crossed paths with Chris at some point.
A couple of times. Actually, we were at last 2 summers ago, my friend's bachelor party who I played for. Chris was at the bachelor party, and they live in the same city in Ulm, Germany. And me and Chris have connected. We played against each other. So yeah, it's a very small world out there if you think about it.
Dan, it's just tremendous catching up.
Yeah.
I think you probably know this, one of my all-time favorite Crusaders back in the day, now the Beacons, but because of what you were as a player and what you were as a person, and I couldn't be more thrilled to be the one talking to you, welcome you into the Hall of Fame.
I really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate all your support. It's been nothing but amazing. I wish I could have been more connected with the school over the years, but I'm hoping to get back there eventually and kind of see everyone's faces again because I missed it. It was a great experience, and I really do
Congrat-
appreciate it
Congratulations, the great Dan Oppland.
so much, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.